Said, I am 100% Scandinavian. Okay, that's good for you. Are you native Scandinavian? Yeah, they kind of look like you too, Austin. No disrespect to you, right? But I'm just giving you the conceptual context of race and what you're speaking on, right? Because the albinos got together and intermingled their seed with one another, and that created the Canaan, the land of Canaan. That land was preserved for them because they had to stay in the high mountain range due to their leprosy. They didn't have the ability to produce hemoglobin. The hemoglobin in their blood was not taking in enough iron. They became hemophiliacs, right? They became anemic. That's why they could stay in cold conditions at the rate that they do. And they started to intermingle with the wolves and the goats that stayed up in the mountains as well. This is recorded in their Bible. Don't let me get to pull that Bible out. Right? But a lot of people get that wrong when they talk about the sixth ether being. The six ethers are not the Caucasians. We were the original Caucasians. We ruled Europe until it got too cold and the conditions weren't conducive for us to grow food. So we left those lands barren and ended up giving it to our cousins, Canaan, the Canaanites. And the first Canaanites to come out the caves to get educated were the Amorites. They were accepted by their ruler, who was named Sargon I, who your Bible refers to as Nimrod. Says, so why are they cutting the heads off of blue-eyed, blonde-haired people in the Middle East? Who was they? You're going to have to be a little bit more definitive. Why are blonde-haired, blue-eyed people in the Middle East? That should be the real question. Then wouldn't they be killing black? No, because they already killing blacks. And then we not black. Black is a misnomer term, you know, especially here in America. You're not being definitive about this they. Replace the they with an actual what's the name? He said, yeah, why they do it, my people before, and one said nothing. Exactly. We ain't talking about what's going on in Sudan. You know, what about the people in Sudan, Mr. Scandinavia? What about the people in Uganda that are being slaughtered and being suppressed and forced to work for $2 a day while they mine the cobalt? Nobody's saying nothing about that. What about all of the little girls that's being human trafficked out of South Africa by people that's blonde hair and blue eye, by the Dutch and the Austrians, right? And how come when they ended apartheid, they let off bombs in the downtown cities of Johannesburg? See, that stuff don't get highlighted. But you want to tell me about some six ether beings and what they doing to their own people. If that's of your concern, you should be concerned about that. But they shouldn't even be in them areas. They need to take their ass back to Scandinavia. Shouldn't be in the Middle East. Those are Hindus. Them Arabs that you're talking about, those are Hindus. That's the six ether black man. Those are the blacks, right? He said they were slaves. When you say the word name slave, slave is that's a short term for Slovenian. Slovenians. And the Slovenians or the Slavs or the Slavics, that's right. And that's another little word. See, what they did was they couldn't read and they couldn't write. They were incompetent. They didn't know how to grow food. So they used to pimp them out. Right? The tribes of Hammurabi, who end up conquering the Amorite, who were not the Amorite Empire. Do not let them tell you that. They were not the Amorite Empire. That was the Akkadian Empire. And after they overthrew Sargon I, who you know is Nimrod, who worshiped, listen, Kingu, this is where you get the word king from, and Tiamat. And Tiamat had sex with her son, Kingu, and they produced a child that was born dead. It was a stillbirth. And they took the body of that child and buried it under an evergreen tree. Sounds familiar? And when they buried that body up under the under the evergreen tree, it was to symbolize that the child would live forever through the evergreen tree, because evergreen trees have a very long lifespan, as I aforementioned earlier in monologue. And this is where your concept of Christmas comes from, because Nimrod was born on December the 25th, which is the month of the Capricorn, the month of the goat, right? And they were able to understand this. The Amorites, the Canaanites, and he ruled over them. They worshiped him as their God because he was a direct descendant from the ruler of the sky called Enlil, right? That go back to Genesis 6 in your Bible. Because when you read Genesis 1 through 6 and 7, it's talking about, these are Akkadian records. You know, that's the Enuma Elish that you're reading about. He says Satan. No, y'all ad-libbing. I don't know what you talk about. Please leave the comment section for people that got questions, you guys, because it's going to throw me off. I turn all the stuff I'm saying now, I'm going to turn it into content. I'm going to re-upload it and chop it up into highlights. So when y'all be putting stuff in there, it's like, you know, the one-word answer. I don't know if that's to me or y'all talking to each other. But please, if y'all got any questions, put it in the comment section, and we'll continue dialoguing herein. Come join us in Atlanta, March the 6th and the 7th and the 8th. But it's 1/3 of you that's your mother, and it's 1/3 of you that's your father, and then it's 1/3 of you that's not your mother or your father. Have I ever heard of the Yamnaya people? No, I can't say that I'm familiar. Right? So when you, the soul, incarnates into the body, you had to drop in density in order for this to occur. And when you come into the body, you come through your father, figuratively and literally, into your mother, where you gestate in the womb for 9 months, and you acquire a persona, a personality, through the traits that are in the template of the chromosome, which is Nefertum, number 23, of the X and the Y, right? Now, you don't have chromosomes. Not yet, not till you come out your mother. And that's when your persona begins to develop, and you take on a moniker or a label or a name, and they name you whatever they name you. They call you Junebug, right? And now you Junebug. You look like your mama, but you act like your daddy. Or you look like your daddy, but you act like your mama. Or you look like both of them, and sometimes you act like your mama, and sometimes you act like your daddy, and they call you Junebug, right? And you spend the first 6 years of your life absorbing everything in the physical dimension through your physical senses. Because no one teaches you how to see. No one teaches you how to hear. No one teaches you how to taste. No one teaches you how to touch. And no one teaches you how to smell. Right? what they start to do is start teaching you how to think. Because they don't never tell you about the sixth sense. Your sixth sense is thinking. And that's connected to the Aya Hiru in the brow area. The brow area on the chakra grid represents the brow chakra. That's the psychic center, right? That's where the third eye comes out of. He said one ear in that U. I don't know what you mean by that. Y'all tap the screen, you guys. Tap the screen for me. Let's get the likes up to 100K. 1 year and that's you. I don't know what that means. Anyway, the sixth sense is thinking. But they want the 666, the Baphomet, wants to influence your thinking. If they can influence the way that you think, they can influence the words that's coming out your mouth and the actions that are in alignment with the words that you're saying. And it negates you from going into your spiritual senses so that you can connect to your spiritual self and activate the soul on the earth plane. Like it tells you in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. I blew in the man the breath of life. He has one ear and it hears you. He said, could Imhotep and Nimrod be the same person? No, that's a false awareness. That's a false awareness. Because Nimrod is a biblical name. His Akkadian name is Sargon I. Imhotep comes from a whole nother landmass. You follow? Peace and love, beloved. I hope that answers your question. So what happens, you guys, is that we're being blocked. Your ability to think is being blocked. And you're being trapped in these five senses. You follow? And your intuition is the gateway that's connected to your first mind. And your first mind is your spiritual mind. See that? This marker that went out. I wear these markers out, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me. I rock through these markers. Y'all go ahead and screenshot that. I'll get another marker. All right. You said they hate you too. Come on now. Let's stop all of that. Let's stop all that negative talk. Right? Let's not get the live block. Your first mind. Tasha putting a 9 in the comment. All right, I'm going to take this off the board. Anybody need to see this on the board before I take it down? I'm just leaving it up here for the people that didn't catch us earlier. You said they will love to have you. Who would love to have me? Can you be a little bit more specific? You keep saying they. That's being very vague. You're not being definitive. You're being very vague. Vague leaves space for confusion. It leaves room for second guessing, right? And we don't want to second guess. We want to know. It makes it very difficult when you're being vague. You know how when you go into interrogation and the police ask you questions They want, they trying to know. They trying to understand. So he said the predators. All right, come on. Let's get you out the comment section, man. You ain't gonna ask no real questions. We gonna have to mute you. Yeah, but your intuition deals with your first mind. Your ego deals with the physical mind, the body mind. We call that the physical. That's the physical mind. So the ego deals with second guessing. Anytime you second guess yourself, it's coming from the ego. When you third guess, we call that uncertainty. When you fourth guess, now you become doubtful. And this is the state of mind that the social engineering program needs for people to stay in so that you can dedicate 15 years of your life to enhancing its financial status in your society. You follow? And then on your off time, they reprogram you with the entertainment that keeps you distracted and keeps you operating below the threshold of your thinking. And all you concerned about is what smells good. Oh, I got to get that new. I was going to say Issey Miyake, but it ain't Issey Miyake no more. Now it's the Chrome Heart, East St. Laurent, you know, the new Versace, the Tom Ford. You follow? Oh, I got to just go out to dinner. I got to have the best eateries available, even the convenient eateries available. So it appeals to your sense of taste. It appeals to what you see. It stimulates what you see. You follow? Exactly. Exactly right way, Rob. That's exactly why it's free. Right? They want you to, like, yo, here, just look at this. Right? And then I remember cartoon. This is when I knew that something was wrong. When my nephews started growing up and they came up with the Cartoon Network, I was like, whoa, hold on. When the cartoons going on? They're like, ah, shit, cartoons all day and all night. When I was growing up, you got a little bit of cartoon. And on the weekend, you had the cartoon in the morning, right? Exactly. Waste your life force. Then what you hear. They control what you hear. They control what you see. They control what? What you're smelling, what you're tasting, and what you're touching. And that'll automatically give them the ability to govern what you're thinking. And they keep you tracked in a pentagram and bind it to a hexagram. So when you see that 6-pointed star, that's not a 6-pointed star. That's a tetragrammatron. It's interlocking and it's binding. Same thing with that pentagram. It's interlocking. It's interwoven. And it creates a knot that binds you to the third dimension and leave you in it leaves you up under you know, you become binded to their spells. And you, which is the soul, can never awaken. Or you can never leave beyond the thresholds of this dimension. So even after you pass on from this dimension, you will cycle back into it again because your consciousness is stuck in all of these cycles and loops, as I aforementioned before. They tell you that it's 60 seconds in a minute. Once it gets to 60, it loops over again. 60 minutes in an hour, then it loops over again. 24 hours in a day, and then it starts over again. 7 days in a week, and then it starts over again. 30 to 31 days in a, in a month, then it starts over again. 12 months in a year, and then it starts over again, right? 4 seasons of time, and then it starts over again. These are cycles and loops. And our consciousness becomes crystallized into these cycles and these loops. And what you have to do is be able to break through the time barrier. And that's something else. I don't share that with a lot of people, but the people in my community, especially my close counsel, they know I've already broken the time barrier. We've already we've already become custodians of the planet, right? Now we're becoming custodians of those in the afterlife. Then we're starting to impact the dream realm with the new tech that I developed, right? The dream tech, right? You said, we loop it again. But yeah, time is an illusion. Let me break the time down for you guys. Let's go back over the time again to see that's what these Luciferians did. Is they started manipulating time. They lunar beings. You solar beings. We beings of the sun. We not beings of the moon. Right? These beings are dog worshippers. They got dyslexia. So when you look at the word God, you're looking at the word dog. You follow that? That comes from Sirius, which is a part of the Canis Major. Canis is canine. You see that? That's right, the dog star. You're dealing with canine. And the canine being worshipped a being by the name of Baal, which is ancient Samaria and Akkadian base. The biblical term that they use is Babylonian for the Babel, right? You take these two words and put them together, you get cannibal. See that? It's the cannibal. These are lunar ticks based on the dog, because when does the werewolf come out? Somebody tell me when the werewolf come out. You said, what about cannabis? Yeah, you could, phonetically, you could put that in there. I could see that. That's right. You come out during the full moon. That's when the dog come out. Lunar ticks. Lunar cycle. Cipher, which is Lu cipher. Lucifer, the fallen angel, fell to earth. Why did the angel fall to earth? Anybody know? Right? Lucifer, the lunatics. They came from a being by the name of Luna, who was also Kingu, where you get the word king from. And he was worshipped in ancient Samaria and Acadia as well. Right? Let me put that right there so y'all could map that together and connect that. Right? King of the lunatics, of the Luciferians. He was a sixth ether being of Hindu descent. Right? So Lucifer, the Luciferians, worshiped the dog from Sirius. And when they were born, right? That's why they hold the dog up. What do they call the dog? What's one of the main sayings that's said about the dog? They say that the dog is what? Man's best friend. But they're not really saying man's best friend. They're really saying mankind. Dyslexically, you'll say a kind of man. It's not an actual man. It's kind of a man. In Hebrew, they use the word behemoth. That means human beast. And it says that the beast was more subtle than any beast of the field that the Lord God had made. Right? It's more serious or it's more subtle than any beast of the field. Right? And the reason why they was trying to get into Sirius, which is in the Canis Major constellation, is because they realized that the Dogons, right? Look at that. The Dogon. See that? Their eyes were like telescopes. And they could see the stars and the orbits, and they knew how to hold on a second. They knew how to chart the movement of the suns in that particular constellation. In the Dogon tribe, which comes out of Mali, right? They knew how to chart the stars' movements in the Canis Major. And the first so-called Europeans, which they weren't the first. And I'm going somewhere with all this stuff, you guys, because I'm trying to rein you in and show you how they manipulated time, right? We're going into time with this. So mankind, this kind of man that's a human beast, right? That's born without an umbilical cord. Many of these beings are born without umbilical cords. And for you sisters, try to get you a home doula. If you're pregnant or if you're having a baby or plan on starting a family, do not go to the hospital. They want to keep your placenta. Because the 5 ether being, right, which is this mankind who says that the dog is his best friend. They let the dog lick them all in the mouth and all of that stuff, right? But they don't want you to touch them though. You better not touch them. They call the police on you. They let the dog lick them in the mouth. Dog licking his nuts and everything, right? These are the people you're taking your social cues from. This is the image of the beast. A lot of y'all got dogs. You love your dog. It's a filthy animal. I don't care how you try to cut it. It stink. It need to be outside. I don't see how some people have their dog all up in the bed. Man, get your ass out of my bed. I got a cat. I don't like my cat being in my bed. I put his cat bed on my bed. Because you know the cat like to be wherever you at. I'm like, man, you get on that get in that little bed or get your ass out the window. I throw that nigga outside. You hear me? But this stuff need to be covered. Because this is who you're taking your social cues from. This is who you're listening to when it comes to who your God is. Right? No, the cat be cool. Just don't let that nigga all up in the bed with you. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the cat up in the bed. Make him a bed. Get him one of them little cat beds and make him sleep in the cat bed. Me and my cat be going through it. He be like, fuck it, I'm going to sleep in the chair. I'm like, yeah, you sleep in the chair, nigga. Yeah, cats are a lot cleaner than dogs. They are. They're a lot cleaner. My cat's so clean, he don't even like kitty litter. He go outside, he be burying his shit. I'm like, damn, you used to be a dog or something? He be meowing at me like, that's the only time he meow. Like, yo, let me out. I gotta go pee. And if it's cold outside, he come right back in too. They spend half the time that they awake cleaning themselves, cleaning their paws. I look at how intricate his cleaning method is. He clean his nails off and shit. A dog don't do none of that. Yeah, right? So the cannibal, right? What they say, the cannibal likes to eat the flesh. It likes to eat the dead carcass, right? That's these lunatics. They living by the moon. Anybody that work in the hospital or in the EMS, you know the busiest time of the year for you during the month is when it's a full moon. And you got one coming up on February the 5th. You hear me? He said they transfer disease too. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I got a cat, man. My cat in there sleeping right now on his little cat bed. You know what I mean? They don't bark. Okay, so shouts out to my neighbors. My neighbors got dogs, man. Them motherfuckers be barking. They see me every day and still bark at my ass. I be like, yo, man, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to pour a libation. Like, yo, man, calm your ass down. I'm trying to pour a libation and shit. I be out there sunbathing with my here come the dog and shit. Now they done learned to shut the fuck up. I called on Anubis like, yo, man, get these damn dogs, man. Anubis will shut their ass down. Now they be quiet and shit. You know what I mean? My wife was like, yo, what you say to them dogs? They're like, shit, I called on some assistance. And now they shut the fuck up, right? But they love that dog. They love the dog. The dog gets shot during a little drug raid or something. Oh, Jonas, he died in the line of duty. You fucking bastard, you killed an officer of the law. That's a fucking dog. That ain't no damn officer. It's a fucking dog. The same way you say I'm a fucking nigger, which listen, don't get offended when they call you a nigger. That is a subtle confession that they're illiterate because the word is negri. But they didn't know how to speak Latin. And since they didn't know how to speak Latin, when they tried to transliterate it to their comprehension level, they said nigger. But they don't know how to roll their R's. They don't know how to roll their consonants. They speak with a hiss. You got to know these things, you guys, right? Go get my book at 1089techvision.com, The Poverty Paradigm. It's an ebook. So these beings are based on the moon, and they tell you that the first day of the week is Sunday, but then they tell you the first day of the week is Monday, even though it's Sunday, right? Why do they do that? Why are you telling me? And then the way they spell Wednesday is kind of fucked up too. I don't even know if I'm spelling that right. Is it Wednesday, or with who? I don't know. Right? It's a spell. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which is Saturn. We know. I can hear you, brother. Right? But this is the first day of the week. But they tell you that this is the first day of the week too. Am I lying? Why do they do that? Why you keep telling me that the second day of the week is the first day of the week? Why do you do that? Why do you tell me Sunday is reserved for God, but you got all these activities going on Sunday? Why are you gaslighting me? That's a form of gaslighting that's going on. That's right, Lamar, the confusers. They trying to keep us confused, but they don't need you thinking. They don't need you thinking, beloved, right? So he always tells you that the smallest unit of time is what? Let them know, Lamar. What's the smallest unit of time? Right? What's the smallest unit of time? I'm going to bring this 1089 for y'all. That's right, 210. Second. They tell you that the second is the smallest unit of time. That's the smallest unit of time is a second. But they're showing you about the second day of the week and calling it the first day of the week. And they say, all right, y'all, it's Monday, the beginning of the week. That's not the beginning of the week. The beginning of the week is Sunday. But they keep making you pay attention to the second. They tell you that that's the smallest unit of time. How you going to have a second before you have a first? You see that? Don't a first predate a second? And don't a zero predate a first? Shouldn't that be the chronological order of things? But it's not. Sorry, I'm not taking no guess up. I don't know who that is trying to get up here and be a guest. You out of line. You ain't gave no gifts. You ain't been hitting the like button. You ain't even a part of our community. And you think I'm going to let you get up here and be a guest on this 1089 TV? I don't know who you are. But take your ass down. Get on off the guest side of things. I'm not letting you up here. Right? Then they tell you that it's 60 seconds in a minute. And they show you this. Right? They tell you it's 60 seconds to equal a minute. Or a minute. But 60 seconds is like this. That's 60 seconds. And when your clock gets to 59, it starts over at 0. It don't even go to 60. It doesn't equate for 61 or 62. So you got 1, 2, 3 seconds. You might as well call it 4 because it starts back over at 0 again. So that's 4 seconds of time, 4 seconds missing from every minute. Y'all follow that? You got 4 seconds of time taken off of every minute, of every hour, of every day, since they started something called the Greenwich Meridian, which is in Southeast London, where they decided to make an international time clock without getting the without getting that ashe from all the other nationalities. They just went on ahead, and that was in 1884. So from 1884 to 2027, right? Let's do it like this. Let's do the math. What's that? 3, 4, 1. 143 years. So for the last 143 years, 4 seconds has been missing off of every minute of every hour of every day leading up to right now. That's a lot of time that is not being accounted for. And that's based on a second, not a first. It should be 61st seconds in a minute, not 60 seconds. It should be 61st. You see that? It should be 60. If it was 60, it should make it to 60. But you say the second that you put the second on there, you didn't made it like this. This is grimoire that people are accepting as time. And that's not time. He said, is that why Ethiopia is a different year than everyone? I don't know if that's the reason, but what it is that they never they never went and accepted the Christian era, right? They never accepted the things that Antioch was attempting to establish, because that's when the timeline was changed over, really in 55 AD, by Dionysius Exiguus, who said that time started at the birth of Christ. However, when you look at 1 AD, you will see that Christ was born in 4 BCE. So time is really starting, and there's no coincidence that it started in 4 BCE, right? Let's see, Christianity. And I got this inside my book. You need to get my book, The Paruti Paradigm. Get the ebook, available on my website. Christianity started in 55 AD, after Dominion. But they say Jesus was born, marked the beginning of time again, right? That began the first millennium when Christ was born, or the second millennium, right? And they say that that's supposed to start in 1 AD, right? But he was actually born, according to them, in 4 BCE, 4 years before the Christian era. Which one is it? And there's no coincidence that, go look this shit up. You'll see it for yourself. 4 BCE is lining up with them 4 seconds that's missing from time. And we ain't even talking about daylight saving time, when they take the time and move it back, when they take time and move it forward. And for those that's been coming out to the seminars through these years, y'all always notice it. We always have a seminar around a significant time. Y'all ever notice that? It's always something very significant at play every time I do an event. And there's no coincidence that when we do the Het Hiru seminar on that Sunday, March the 8th, will be the day of daylight saving time. And you move your clocks up an hour. That's no coincidence. That's of no coincidence. You follow what I'm saying? So 4 seconds is missing from every minute since 1884. That's 143 years. The English language hasn't been it ain't even that old. 1592 is when it got established, right? 1592 AD. That's when the Supremacy Act was signed. The Supremacy Act by King Henry VIII. This is not in the Bible. This is an actual history. King Henry VIII, he severed the ties from the Roman Vatican Church from Pope Clemency. Thank you, 210. I knew you was going to look that up. 9.73 hours a year is missing. So out of them 140, let's do the math on that. We're just going to round it off to 10 years, right? So 10 years of time divided by 143, which that's 143, that's 4. And then you got a 3 left over. You add a 0 on that. And call that 30 years of time. Hold on, I'm doing that different. I'm doing that wrong. Put the 3 down there. So that's 14 years. 14 years missing. And y'all know who the 14th Neteru is, right? The 14th Neteru is Nut. And the 33rd Neteru is Mut, or Mut. Think that's a coincidence? Y'all think that's a coincidence? See how that raynology works? Shouts out to 210 for doing that. I was thinking about this earlier. I was in contemplation. You know, I like to sit in silence. And I seen 210 doing that. I seen you doing that, 210. I said, I guarantee you when I write this up on the board, when I go over this part, I know that 210 gonna go do the math. I knew you would. You might have picked up on my telepathic signal. Like, man, go ahead. I need you to go ahead and do that. I say that for him, right? So here we are. And I put 2027. You peep that? I put 2027. I ain't put 2026 because we already in it. So I put the next year. So you got about 14 years of time is missing from time. And not to mention what took place with the Philadelphia experiment. Go check out the Philadelphia experiment playlist on my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel or if you haven't clicked the notification bell, you are leaving yourself misinformed. I'm just keeping it 10K with you. I got well over 1,000 videos up. We well over 1 million views at this point with being shadow banned. I've been shadow banned. They ain't never let me come on live this long for this many days without being blocked. And that's because you guys are tapping that screen. I need you to tap the screen, give your gifts out, do all that stuff. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it'll be showing TikTok. They don't want to lose their money. They see y'all tapping that screen and y'all giving out them gifts. That make them not want to block my live. It start affecting their bottom line then. Yeah. And that's also coming from the ancestor realm, right? That's coming from the ancestor realm too. They like, yo, man, they got to give you something, man. I'm enlightening people at a high clip. I'm not just sitting here shooting the shit and giving you mumbo jumbo and talking about the bullshit that they giving you on the news. They giving you a cascade of distractions and programmings and propaganda. Fuck all of that. We're going to talk about the things that really matter. And you know what really matters in the in the material realm? You are what matters. Said, I'm trying to ask a serious question. Don't try, ask it, beloved. Go ahead, Reggie Casino. Ask your question, beloved. It might be blocking you. Sometimes they'll block your question. TikTok will block the question from being asked. It ain't me. It ain't my moderator. And sometimes it'll drop y'all out the room. That's not my moderator. That's not me dropping y'all out the room for the people to get kicked out the room. That's TikTok. They don't want y'all getting this knowledge, man. They don't want y'all getting the knowledge. That's right. That's right, Tina. They filtering it. If I was talking some bullshit and I was sitting up here twisting one up and coughing and just playing some rap music, and man, they'd be letting my shit go all over the damn place. Like, that's a good nigga right there. We like that nigga. You know how to keep the people distracted. I'm not keeping you distracted. I'm showing you how to exhibit right thinking. They don't like that shit. They're like, God damn it. Get this fucking nigger off of here. We gotta purchase the TikTok. Took the TikTok from the Asian guy. That was some bullshit. I'm telling y'all, I was at the root of that. Because I don't waste my hickers. And my number one hicker was to the Caucasians, right? To the pale lepers. I said, hey, don't show me that you stand with me in solidarity. Go to your people and castigate them for the wrongs that they have done and that they're still doing right now. Don't become narcissistic as your forefathers and not seek to atone for the wrongs that they've done and make them atone for the wrongs that they've done. Like the one Scandinavian brother, he came here talking about, oh, what about what they doing to the blue-eyed people? And man, fuck them blue-eyed people. How dare you come in here and even say some goofy shit like that? With all the shit that those blue-eyed people and them Arab people done to my people. If anything, you should have been coming in here atoning. It shows you the degree of self-awareness that is missing. And it's primarily, and it's not all his fault, right? But they only got 5 chakra points. You got 9 chakra points. They only got 5. So they don't have the degrees of compassion in their heart that you do. That's their ceiling. In order for them to exhibit love and emotion, they have to act. That's under Bacchus, right? It's the god of theater, drunkenness, and celebration. That's their celebrities, right? They're celebrities that are actors. They got to act out their emotions. They got to act like they're happy. They got to act like they're sad. They got to act like they're angry. They can't just naturally be like that. And for you black sisters, misnomer, I use that term loosely. For you melanated people, y'all try to take y'all little girls to be the black swan and put on her tiara and her little tutu and try to get her to be a ballerina. And they tell you that you shouldn't let your daughter, hey, this is not for your daughter. And you say, how dare you? Y'all being racist. No, they not. It's not for your child. Because when you spin your daughter around in that circle and try to make her spin like that, she get dizzy. But when they spin their child around like that, they not going to get dizzy. They already dizzy. That shit stimulate their ass. They get stimulated from that. Your ass get dizzy and shit. You be like, oh, what the fuck? How the hell they do that shit? They already dizzy. They sit there at the bar and just keep on hitting them back. Like, damn, how many of them shits you done had? Oh, I done had about 12 shots of Jack. God damn, for real? Damn. After 2 of them, I'll be done. Like, shit. I'm good. This motherfucker in like, wow, another one. Wow, another one. Wow, I need another one. Wow. Bam. Bam. Then take a beer. Look, guzzle it all the way down. Got to get it in before it's time to go back to work on Monday, the first day of the week. I'm like, damn, man. Yeah, go on. Don't worry, buddy. Hey, get one for my guy, for my friend here. I'm like, man, I'm good. I done had enough. Oh, I have another one. I get up, I be gone. That motherfucker, he get up, it ain't shit. Like, man. Because he don't got that soul in there. You follow? We on 2 different frequencies. And they're an off branch of who you are. You hear me? You get on that damn roller coaster and that shit get to the top, your soul becomes awakened and say, why the fuck did you get on this roller coaster? And you trying to process where that voice is coming from. That's you saying this is stupid. You could die. And even though you locked in there, your soul still tell you like, yo, man, what if this shit fling open? You want me to fucking feel, you want to really feel what it's going to feel like if this shit fling open? You start holding on to that shit like, oh, man. And people whose soul is highly activated, especially the children. That's why the children be crying and screaming. Why would you want to evoke that level of fear into your body? Why would you want to do that to yourself? Why would you want to scare the shit out yourself like that? Make that make sense. You be screaming and hollering like a motherfucker. I know I do. But when they get on that shit, they get stimulated by that shit. It make them feel alive. It makes them feel alive. It make you feel like, what the fuck was I thinking? And if your black ass get on that shit and you don't feel that way, you done brought yourself down to their level, to their frequency. And once you get on that frequency, listen, Now you done moved outside the range of your ancestral protection. Because your first line of defense into the physical world and the spiritual world is your ancestors. So you'll get pulled over in a car listening to that Percocet music that was orchestrated by the CIA, right? And they gun you down. And see, the officer that's gunning you down, it ain't him that's gunning you down. It's the demon that has cohabited that vessel with him. Because his spirit isn't strong enough to override the demon. And that demon see that you don't got no ancestors around you, and it is not going to be a ramification for spilling innocent blood, which they like to feed on. You hear me? So you're putting yourself on their vibration. And every time I see the family of the people who done lost somebody, they got a damn cross around their neck. Every single time. Take that damn cross off. You're putting yourself on their frequency. The cross represents death. That shit does not represent life. The Ankh represents life. This Ankh right here, that represents life. That doesn't represent death. That's the wound in the phallus. When you're looking at a cross, you're looking at 4 phalluses touching each other. I'm just keeping it 10K with you. Because that's how the Roman get down, right? That's where the word back has come from. Roll man. Roll the man. Next month, you're going to say romance. It's time for some romance. That's what romance too. That's what it means. A lustful infatuation shared between 2 men. Most of you people don't know that. Someone has to point these things out to you. They have to be vetted out to you. Because you're out of your mind. You're out of your body. And now you didn't allow Jesus to come in because Jesus is the vampire, right? Jesus is the vampire. And the vampire cannot enter into your home, your body, unless it's invited in. And what's the first thing Pastor Porkchop tell you? Open up your heart and allow Jesus in there. You have to has to come in by invitation. So he can keep you on that 6 ether frequency and torture you or abstract the energy from your soul. Pastor Porkchop, Deacon Dementia, right? Pastor Prime Rib. Minister Hot Sauce. Oh, man. Nigga be sweating all over the place. Sweating all type of pig out his pores. Even look like a pig. You know what I mean? Look disgusting. Up here lying to the people. And every last one of them is Masons, right? Can't even get in that position until you become a Mason. And no, Dr. Ray is not a Mason and I'm not a Shriner. I come from a lodge that predate those lodges by 10,500 years. And that's how I know this stuff. But you walk into their damn lodge and Pastor Porkchop go in there and he see the eye of Haru. He see Osset. He sees Osaru. And he go bow to the feet of his worshipful master in that damn lodge and pay his little fucking fees. And then he come see you on Sunday, the first day of the week, and pass that collection plate and tell you about Jesus. When he should be telling you about Haru. And he'll take that secret to the grave just so he can get a passport through the fucking system of the beast. Tell me I'm lying. Tell the truth, it shames the devil. Thank you, Jigs. A Jug. Jug know what time it is. They playing with y'all. They playing with you. They got the litigated God and say, oh man, that brother going to hell, he's the devil. They the devil. My father said it best. Shouts out to my pops. He said the church, man, that's the devil's hangout. That's where he like to kick it at. That's where all his demons is at, right there in the church, pointing the finger at each other. And anybody that got a real good heart, that really do got Christ in their heart, that really do want some redemption and some salvation, they get condemned. You hear me? And they're being held hostage in that church. And they feel that they've been conditioned to think that they're going to go wrong if they go against Pastor Porkchop and Deacon Dementia. So they're being held hostage. And that's why I say I talk in that range. Because they're stuck there. They don't know, they're trapped in their own fear. And I'm here for you, beloved, because I know you're listening. And I know you're going through a thing right now. I know them dirty fuckers got you trapped in that church and got you in shame. Got you looking at guilt when they guilty as a motherfucker. And most of the people in that congregation is guilty. And they haven't even asked the people who they've wronged to forgive them. They went to some dead little white motherfucker on a stick with a dirty ass diaper on that's dead to forgive them. I wish I would worship some type of God that's dead. That got killed by his own creation. I don't want to worship no God like that. If I'm going to worship a white man, let that motherfucker be the Punisher. At least give me the Punisher, my nigga. He got that big ass M1 with the rocket launcher on there. Got the bayonet around his fucking shoulder. Let me worship that nigga. I don't want to worship some old malnutritious ass bony motherfucker that look like he ain't washed his ass in 3 years. He got a diaper on his ass and he getting nailed to a damn cross, man. Fuck that. You can have that nigga. How come his daddy ain't slide for him? How come his daddy ain't spin the block for his son? What type of wimp is his daddy? I wish somebody would say they're going to hang my son up on the cross and nail him there. You're going to have to deal with me. You're going to have to nail my ass up there too, because I'm spinning the block. You hear me? That shit don't even make sense. Y'all got to wake up from this crap. That fake ass timeline. It's a fake ass timeline. If he was born in 4 years before Christ, before the Christian era, how the fuck was he born? How was it the Christian era? And then you started time over in 1 AD, and you didn't establish that until 55 AD. And that was a man by the name of Dionysus, which is the Greek way of saying Bacchus. Dionysus Exiguus. Dionysus Exiguus. He was the first Christian monk. And what he used to do was, before the Roman Empire was an empire, it was a republic. This isn't a biblical story. This is an actual historical fact. Do you hear me? This is an actual historical fact. And when the Roman Republic wrote a man, y'all know about them Romans now. You know how they get down. What they did was, when they came across John Wycliffe and seen that he came up with the word God, they burnt him at the stake. Then they took all his notes and integrated it into Christianity. Because Dionysus Exiguus knew how to communicate with the Phoenicians. He knew how to talk to the Mesopotamians and to the Persians. And that's how they would suppress nations. They've been doing that for years. They come in with their missionaries. That's their mission. They on a mission impossible. They'll send them in there not to return. They just tell them to establish their ministry, right? and then they're going to come through the back door. You just leave the back door open and we'll slaughter everybody in the middle of the night. That's devilishly. You can't even be upright with people. That's how they get out. But after they burnt John Wycliffe, right? John Wycliffe, for those that don't know, a lot of y'all already know this, but I got to do this for the people that don't know. And it's for everybody that use that word God. That's where that word God come from. John Wycliffe. All that energy is being sent to him. That being came to me one day at my altar. And he thanked me. He was like, thank you for making people aware of who I am. And he said the reason why he came up with that word, as I said earlier in monologue, is because he did not listen. There was no definition for the creator. And I had to give him his props on that. I was like, damn, you did come up with that. And he said, God is the source of all creation, the creator of all creation. He gave a meaning to it. And they took that. And his understudy, who was John Huff, or John Huss, he picked it up. And when Dionysius Exiguus found out about his ass, they caught up to him, took all his notes too, integrated that into what you now call the Nicene Creed, and burnt his ass at the stake as well. You hear me? I show y'all all of this in the Paruti Paradox. Go. It's only $13, man. God damn. If you really want to know, if you really want to cross-reference what I show you in that book. But we will have clarity in this great day and time. But people say they believe in God and, you know, God just got, man, you say that shit like that nigga took you to Chick-fil-A this morning. Just say you don't know what the fuck is what. You will get away cleaner being honest with yourself and honest with others instead of just lying. Acting like you really got some connection to some shit that you never met. And what I always tell y'all people in the community, say, hey man, I don't tell you to connect to God. I don't tell you to connect to the Neteru. I don't tell you to connect to the Anunnaki. I don't tell you to connect to Lord Krishna or Mahashri Lakshmi or none of that. I tell you to connect to your grandmamas and your granddaddies because you experience them. If you're going to reach out to any spirit, let it be a familiar spirit that you've experienced love unconditionally and compassion from. I would be doing you a disservice if I did not tell you that. And that's the same thing that the brothers in Africa, which we call Ganawa, right? Or Nuba. Those are some of the original names before the colonizer came up with these labels and concepts for our continents and our land, territories, right? Before that occurred, we already had our own fucking names. Why don't you ask us what we called ourselves instead of trying to come up with names that you think we should be called? When they first came here, they called you Indian. The second time they came here, they called you a nigger. Then they came back again and called you a black Indian. Then they came back again and called you a nigger again. Then they started calling you a red man. Then they started calling you, listen, black. Then they started calling you Negro. Then they started calling you African American. Then they started calling you an Afro American. They'll call you everything except the Son of God, which you are, for what they know. But they're not going to tell you that. It's up to you to figure that out. And somebody keep coming back for y'all ass to keep telling you. And y'all keep rejecting them and keep running to these pale lepers to give you the answer when they came here second. They wasn't here first. They came here second. They weren't here first. They came here second. I'll say it again. You came here first, and they came here second. And I ain't talking about a Maxim or Atla or Utla. I'm talking about into this existence. You predate them by, listen, you predate them by 17.2 million years. They can't tell you shit about shit. You do yourself a disservice listening to them. And now you ain't got no choice in this current incarnation because the only language you can understand is the bastard language that they indoctrinated and conditioned you to understand. And even that shit got you confused. So that got to be put into its appropriate context for you people. And that's what I'm here to do in this great day and time called Noon Tirade. Anyone else have any questions? Anyone else have any questions? Come on now. Anyone got any questions? Go ahead and put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section. What's up, boy? How you do? Kalina Azul. Adorahla. No, they don't contain grimoire. Well, no, but see, you got the Proto-Indo-Euro linguistic tree that comprised of all of the languages that came out of Mesopotamia, the Persians, the Assyrians, right? The Bulgarians, the Germanic terminologies, the French, the Italians, the Romans, the Greeks, right? The Phoenicians, the Arabic. All of those particular languages are all integrated into one. And by the time you get to the grimoire, grimoire is based on the people that speak in English. Like I told you, I don't know if you read that book, The Paruti Paradigm, but when the Act of Supremacy was signed in 1592 and they severed their ties to the Roman Vatican Church, they didn't know how to speak Latin. That's how they ended up getting people to get indoctrinated into Christianity because it didn't require you to read like Judaism did. Judaism required you to read the Torah. You had to learn to read the law. And by the time you were 13, you were held accountable for what you read in the Talmud. So as you read the Torah and you read the commandments of God, which there were 613 commandments, right? The Romans, when they invaded Jerusalem in 70 AD, when they came with, with their republics to take that shit over, and Dionysius Exiguus gathered up all of their paperwork, it was like, damn, man, it's a lot of commandments. We ain't taking all these damn commandments. We just gonna take 10 of these motherfuckers. We'll take 10. 613. God damn, that's a lot. Anyway, fuck that. We gonna mix this shit up, man. Let's see what the Egyptians got. Let's see what what we got from our Egyptian militaries, from the Mesopotamians. Because the Mesopotamians bowed down. They followed the Hellenistic customs as well. I'm putting that in my new book, Negativity. I'm still working on negativity. I got to get this concisely right for you guys so that you can start seeing yourself. I want you to be able to really see yourself when you read negativity, and you will stop carrying on with that transgressive behavior, right? You will start checking your own brothers and sisters, and the women, y'all will start doing the same thing by the time you finish reading this book, because you will start seeing how you've been exhibiting some form of negativity, right? And I just got a juicy part. I'm glad I saved that video about the CIA and how they took over the rap industry. Because now I got to integrate that shit into the book. There'd be a reason why I don't come out with a book. It'd be certain information that I need, and it'd be brought to me, from my spiritual agency. They like, yo, hold on, you need this in there too. Oh, you need this, hold on. And then it'll finally catch up to me. I'll be like, oh shit, right? But I write about this type of stuff in negativity. But what happened was the people did not know how to read or write. They only knew how to speak the language. And when the Christian father or pope or papal would come before the people propagating the gospel of Christ, right? The people said, how do we know what you're speaking about is true? And what they would tell them is, all you got to do is open up your heart and allow Jesus in and have faith and believe in the second coming of Christ, because he's been murdered, but he's going to resurrect and come back again. And if you could do that, you'll come back. But I'm a sinner. It's okay. If you accept Jesus in your heart, he's going to forgive you. I raped 3 women last week and I killed their father. Jesus will forgive you, my son. Come meet me in church and give me 40 Hail Marys and 7 pieces of silver. Do you hear me? They didn't know how to read the book that the priest was holding in his hand. They knew how to hear it. They knew how to speak the language. They just couldn't read the language. And they couldn't write the language either. And this went on all the way up, listen, into 1592, when King Henry VIII had the Act of Supremacy wrote up because he wanted to get his marriage annulled. He wanted a divorce from the lady that he was marrying. And the Pope was like, nah, man, you can't do that before God. He was like, what you talking about? I can't do it before God. Nigga, I'm the King of England. And Pope Clemency said you can't do that. So he severed his kingdom from the Roman Vatican Church, and he established the Church of England. And the first conundrum that they had was they had to come up with a new language. This is how you got the English language. I leave all these reference points in my book, Paruti Paradigm, right there, right?